Hello everyone, this is Hodora and welcome back to another video for Gakuen Idol Master. Today we're gonna talk about how to differentiate good memory and bad memory. Why are we talking about this now? Because next week we're gonna get a new scenario, which means I can assume that most, if not all, of the memories we have right now from Hajime's scenario will be less powerful than whatever coming out of Nier scenario, right? And I haven't done this in a while, so we're gonna talk about what skills you want to have in your memories in each archetype, right? So we're gonna start with Sense Idol here. As you can see, my tier is just the core skill, the strong card, average card, card for utility, bad card, and something that you don't want in your deck at all, which is trash, right? So before we go to the specific skill for sense, we're gonna talk about this first few card, which is a free skill card that every archetype can use. First of all, the board of the drawing card is fit in utility. Sometimes if you don't have any better choice, these are fine to have because basically it's just free card, right? If you draw this, you can just use it and draw another card. So it's fine to have these two. Everything else, every mental card from this free, mostly if not all trash. This active is bad. It's usable, but it's not as strong as other active we have for sense. And this one is either between utility and bad because it's, I gotta say utility because it's become a free card now. Because it have extra action and it also block your debuff one time and you also get a shield. So it's more like a utility card. And it also draw on turn 1, so you can always use this card on turn 1. The order of importance maybe like this. This is the least important I want. If we talk about utility, I want the cleanse, the normal draw card, and this one. Why this one is last? Because this one is rainbow skill, and we need rainbow skill slot in our memory for other important card, right? And if you don't know, if you are high rank for your memory like double S, you can get maybe 3 or 4 rainbow card in your memory. But most of the time as A plus, S or S plus, you're gonna get either 1 or 2 rainbow. And let's talk about core. The core skill for sense. Right now there is entertainment, of course. Entertainment, eyelash, and as well national idol might work. These are for rainbow, but the core is not just for rainbow, right? Honban, the starter card is always necessary for both, for almost every archetype. So in terms of importance, I'm gonna put this like here. And if there is there any other core I want to put in? Since we use entertainment, right? Since we use entertainment, we gonna use this one too, and this one gonna go better than National Idol because this is like a card. It's like critical hit. It's either you draw this card with another strong card like National Idol into entertainment or National Idol into the RGB hot. It's gonna work great. But if you draw National Idol, your AI use this into, for example, into this cheer card, it's gonna be useless. So it's like critical hit, you have a chance to be good and there's a chance to be average. And next we're gonna put in strong card. Well, these active cards are strong. I'm gonna put the call response in here too. It still works even though it's not as strong as before. But remember, you can only have 2 rainbow in your memory, so you need to choose at mode 4 because you can use 2 memory as one. Actually, call response should be average, and this one too should be average. I'm gonna let innocent be here because if we are in scenario that have quite a long turn, innocent gonna scale quite well. And if we have national idol into innocent, that's gonna work really well too. So we have more option for national idol to make a really good play, right? But these 2 cards are bad. These 2 rainbow cards are bad. It's not useful at all, especially buzzword. And that is all for rainbow, I think. Yeah, next is gold card. Well, of course, this is bad, this is average. Because we have perfect condition. Perfect condition is average. If the round is not too long, eyelash is enough, but it's like 10 turn, 12 turn. Maybe you want to get either one of these to have more perfect condition for the wrong contest. This one is, I'm gonna say it's average because it's one time use. So after you use this only once, it's gonna be gone and it's not gonna cluster your deck anymore. And it's only cost 2 good condition. And it's gonna gain you either 7 or 9 concentration, which is a really, really good trade in my opinion. But whatever is better than this card is this one because if you upgrade, it's gonna only cost 1 and you can gain 5 concentration with extra action. It's not as important as the active one, but it's gonna help with scaling quite well. Actually, like this card is not as important compared to this one. This card is average. This is good. The speakerphone is quite good because it gives you a lot of good condition, which gonna scale really well with perfect condition. And in contest, the more stack you have, the better your average performance gonna become, right? This one is just bad. The grass shoes is average. This is also average. It can be interchanged with speakerphone if you don't have one. This gives you like 5 or 7 if you upgrade. This gives you 3 or 4, I think, if I remember correctly. And then this card is just well usable. It's average, I guess, because it's one time use, so it can be gone after you use it. This is also good. Average, I mean, but this one is bad. The difference between these two is the amount of buff you get. This one you get 3 to 4 concentration and 2 or 3 good condition, I think. This one gives you 4 good condition and only 1 concentration. The value is not matching up, so this one is a lot better than this card. This card is also average. Any one time use for Zen is average because we want to thin our decks as much as possible so we can repeat using the extra action card to create a pseudo loop because you can't do the actual loop. Since in contest you're gonna get basic card that you can't remove on your own. This card is just trash. This is also trash. This one is alright, average. This is average. This one is just bad. You can use it, but you don't have to. Now that I think about this card, this called Direct 3 and give good condition is not bad, it's trash. Because it don't have extra action and it's not one time use, so it's gonna cluster. in your deck, in your hand, and sometimes you make your run become miserable. Okay, this one is also trash. This one is good though, even though it's not one time use, but you can interchange this card with this fancy heart. If you don't high level enough, you don't unlock this, you can use this jump instead, because it also give quite a lot of concentration if I remember correctly. This is bad, this is trash, this is average, bad, 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 strong, strong. And yeah, that is basically it for the Sense Idol, right? Is there anything I want to change? Maybe not. Yeah, if you get this card in your deck, in your memory, right? Either bad or trash, but everything else is either a core skill or a strong card. You can use the synthesis to remove the bad into either average, utility, or strong, depend on your luck, right? Because we have that function now. And one more thing that we need to be consider about is the new scenario will have ability for us to upgrade our skill card with a new keyword. We don't know yet if that keywords are carry over into your memory or not. If it does, well, it's not gonna matter much in terms of turn bad into average, because average and strong gonna be buffed too. Those keywords not just gonna get buff bad card, right? It's also gonna buff a strong card too. All right, that is for sense. So let's moving on. Next is logic. For logic, I think utility is still the same. Discard, the draw, and most of these are trash. Even this is trash now. Because both motivation and impression idol don't use any of these cards. It can't be used, especially this card. If you have this card in your memory, remove it as fast as possible. This gonna break your motivation idol completely. Alright, for the core, we're gonna talk about both archetype at once, alright? Both impression and motivation. So the core, well, the core is, of course, I am the star. It's interesting because when I look at the top rank in my bracket right now in grade 7, they don't focus on the rainbow card as much as the golden card, right? Yeah, this double buff that give you both motivation and good and impression is a really strong card. Basically, you're gonna see these three in every top rank deck, in my opinion, only from my impression. Anything else? Oh, and these two. This one for impression, right? It gives you a lot stack of impression, and this is just for motivation to turn your shield into the score. It scales really well. So these five are the core in my opinion. Everything else is just strong. I'm not gonna talk about this one. This one is too high level. I think this is like level 59 to unlock. It's basically the hyper nuke for impression. I think it scale like 300 or 400% of your stack. I don't remember. And I don't have this either. 59. Whoever get that, they shouldn't be watching this video. Alright, let's go to strong. For impression, this is strong. This is trash. Okay, this is just bad. It's not trash. Okay, this is special case for impression, right? You want this card in your deck too because otherwise your impression not gonna do so well. And this one too, since it gives more extra action. Other than that, for motivation though, these two are just strong. Especially this card, you need to be quite careful putting this one into your deck because it's always called for impression. And if you don't have any way to sustain your impression until late game, this card will be just a trash card in your hand because you can't use it at all. Otherwise, Toroite is always strong. But if your AI is dumb and use this mid game, mid contest, it's not gonna be as good. So in my opinion, Hard Shape is always stronger than Toroite in contest at least. Why I want to say this card is strong, but it's just average. It costs too much for what it gives, right? It gives both stack, that's true. It gives like 10 and 7 or 8, I don't remember. But it costs a lot and it don't have extra action, so that's still better, right? And for motivation, this is also a strong card. If you have a way to sustain your impression until the later half of the run, this card gonna pop off quite well because it's double shield, right? This card is just average because even though you may argue these two are bad, but at least it do something for the archetype. So I say it's average. You might not want this. You might prefer to change this into stronger card. That's fair. And this one is also average because the white flower is quite situational, depend on the idol you use. Someone have a strong scaling for motivation, someone doesn't. So it's really depend. This one is strong card for impression. Yeah. Every card that have extra action gonna be strong by default. But the problem is you need to sustain both buff at the same time you want to use all three of this or even two of this. You have a way to sustain your motivation to be enough to use these two, right? This one, well, it's average because it's help keeping the stack of impression from going down. But other than that, it's not as useful as, for example, this card or just flat increase, right? Like this one, you can get the two of these in your contest deck because you have two memory. And then this one is average because it's not one time use, so it's gonna cluster your hand. While this card is strong because it's one time use, it's not gonna cluster. This one too is strong. This is also strong. There is a lot of strong card for not for motivation, for for logic because we divide this into two archetype, right? Let's make it more noticeable by divide. On the right side we have impression. On the left side we have motivation. Good enough, right? This one is average. Preferably this one is bad together with this one. Well, this one is gonna say average because when you want to use this in impression deck, so gain extra motivation to use with these two cards is nice. But for motivation, gain impression from this card is not as valuable as, for example, this one. This one give you motivation and shield. This one does give you shield. And for motivation idol, not having shield is worse than not having impression. That's also why this card is also average for motivation too. It gives you, it gives impression even though you lack the motivation that it doesn't give. But if you have around 30 to 40 motivation, gaining 5, 4 or 5 extra motivation gonna do you any better because it's like only 10% increase in stack and it's not gonna scale with any scoring component. Next is this one. Well, I would say it's utility. It's not as strong that I want to put in all my card. But if it's there, I'm not gonna change it because it's gonna be benefit for motivation. If it's impression, it might be bad. Anyway, gonna put it there. This one is strong because it gives you a lot of impression. It's called 5 and it gives you like 8, I think. This one gives you more, but this one only one time use. This one can be repeat. This one is bad. This one is strong. Not a strong, average. Usually this card should be average or strong. But in my opinion, since we have this stage, right? And this card, this can be average or can be bad. Do I want this card in my memory though? Because we want the cover. Like this maybe. We want for impression we want cover and clapping hand. These two into of your memory gonna be perfect. You don't need any other card for the silver skill. And for motivation you want the drill and either one of these. If you have other motivation gaining card, this card is not as good. But sometimes this card is better. The silver version is better than the gold. If the silver version is upgrade and the gold isn't upgrade. Because it's gonna give, I think when you upgrade the silver, it's gonna outperform the non-upgrade version of the gold. If I remember correctly. Okay, this one is trash. This one I'm not gonna talk about because this is like level 457 to unlock this card. But what this does is basically is a recyclable scaling card for motivation. It use 3 motivation and gonna convert your shield in the parameter. Sadly, it doesn't have extra action like these 2 cards, so it's not gonna be as useful and not loopable. But it's fine. This one is just bad. Trash. Okay, this card is strong. And this card is arguable. Arguable, I'm gonna put this in average. In my opinion, this card still perform well for impression compared to like other silver card. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that is all for logic. The same thing. If you see any of the card in the bottom 2, you want to exchange. Well, maybe not these 2 cards. These 2 are not that useless because, but you're not gonna see these 2 anyway. These are for high level player. You're gonna change it into either strong or core card. You don't want to change to average because average is average. You don't want just to turn from bad to average, right? You want to turn a bad into good. Yeah? And that is for logic. And lastly, for anomaly. Hello? Hello? Okay, it doesn't show. Okay. The same thing with the free skill card, right? The drawing gonna be very strong here, right away. This is fine too. It's extra action and everything else is not useful at all for anomaly. This card is still fine. It's average actually. because Anomaly have a really specific playstyle, and most of the time they're gonna scale every active card in your deck. So this active is quite strong for Anomaly. It gives shield, it have some form of parameter, and the red buff, the blue buff, the full power gonna buff this even more, so that's fine. So if this card is average, you can use this card in an Anomaly deck without any problem. And that is all for free, I think. Alright, so next let's look at the core card for Anomaly. Well, the strongest card right now is this one. Because this gonna keep scale to become like a giant nuke. Like, I think it's like 60 parameter for pop. And the most important thing is that this card can be reused. It's not one time use, so you can just repop this card many times. But if you don't, even if you only pop this card like twice, it's gonna be really good if you combine with this one. This card basically gives all of your active card in your hand one extra instant of parameter. So from this one it's 7, right? If you use this card, it's gonna be 7 times 2. But if we have this one, 14 times 2, if we use this card, it's gonna be 14 times 3. Only the card in your hand though, so it's a gamble. And you need to be quite careful for this because you need to have at least 3 power shots in order to use this one. If you play with the full power deck, you're gonna get a lot of shots, and this one should be able to use pop off eventually. But if you play with red and blue buff, sometimes your entire memory will not have any way to gain a power shot. So this card will be useless in your memory and will become trash. But right now it's one of the core. Yeah, let's put this one in here too. This one is a core. This one too. It's different between these two is that this one is for red archetype. This one is for full power archetype. What is that? It's basically the same thing. This one progress archetype, let's buff, and next turn you're gonna gain blue buff. This one give you, well, you want to use this card during the full power, and in full power this card gonna give you a lot of parameter, and also make sure that next turn you're gonna get a blue buff, so you're not gonna be lagging in terms of buff next turn. And I think that is all for the core. Yeah, that is all for the core skill. And sadly, there is no gold or silver card that can be put in core right now for Anomaly, from my experience and from what I see in the top langer right now. Next is the strong, is this card. This is card that I talk about that gonna keep upgrading every active card in your deck. If you can use this early, every card in your deck gonna be extremely powerful by the end of the run. I think it gives you like 6 extra parameter every turn as long as you have some kind of stand at the start of your turn, either red, blue, or full power. So it's gonna keep giving you 6 extra parameter. For example, you trigger this 5 times. Every active card in your deck gonna gain 30 extra parameter. Very strong, very valuable. Sadly, it costs a lot, and sometimes if it's not used early, it's worthless. Wait, uh, maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember the number. I know there is 6 in here. maybe it's lower than that because if it's really 6, that's gonna be really, really powerful. Maybe it's like 4 or 5. Anyway, it's strong. It's not as important as this 5 card up here, but it's still really strong card. This one is also strong if you use it in full power. Because in full power, you're gonna gain like 40 extra parameter, I think. And it's gonna become one kind of a nuke too. It also give you an extra power charge. But these two are bad. Really, I don't know why you would want to use these two cards at all in Anomaly. Even in the normal produce, I don't use these two at all, and I'm gonna assume that it's not gonna be good in contest either. Okay, next is Golden Skill. This card is... I kinda don't like this one. Wait, not this one, is... Yeah, I kinda don't like this one. This one gives you extra action. It gives you power shot, but it also make that you cannot change stance next turn, I think. Am I talking about the correct skill? Hmm. I remember there is one skill card that prevent you from changing stance. Where is it? Did they buff it? Maybe they just silent buff the skill and I haven't noticed because I haven't played any anomaly for a while now. Anyway, this card is alright for full power archetype because it gives you power. Basically, it also lets you reserve a card from either your deck or your discard pile, not from your hand. The one from your hand is this one. This one lets you reserve card from your hand, and this one also gives you extra action. I remember this card have, well, whatever, they already changed it, so I'm not gonna talk about that. But yeah, reserve card is strong. Imagine if you, for example, use this skill, right? Use this one, and it's go to discard pile, right? Next turn you draw this card. You use this one, and basically you put this card back to reserve. And whenever you go into full power mode, you're gonna draw this card no matter what. So you can use this to recycle this strong active card so many times, and it's gonna give you a lot of skill. Not skill, sorry, parameter. The only problem is that it requires a lot of brain power, which AI doesn't have. Sometimes it might do it once, twice, maybe, if you are lucky. Otherwise, it's not gonna do anything. So this is just average. It's gonna work if you have used your memory for tower, idle road. But in contest, I don't think AI is smart enough for that play. Okay, these two are strong cards. It do the same thing. It give you blue buff and it give you power shot. Different. This card will always draw on your first turn. So, and it's gonna give you 3 if you upgrade this one. If you don't, it will be 2. But 3, this card, with just this card, all of your red and blue deck will have enough power charge to trigger this skill. So that's why this one is really strong. And for other reason, this one is also strong. It's cordless. It gives more power charge. I think it gives 4. But more importantly, it gives 2 stack of blue, not just one like this card. So if we're talking about drawing them mid-hand, mid-run, mid-contest, this card will always be stronger than this one, since this will be prioritized on your first turn and not nowhere else. And because we have two blue buff here, right? This one will be less valuable because it doesn't give power shot and 2 HP and 5 shield doesn't work. It doesn't that good. It's not that good. And it's also one time use the same. If this is not one time use, it might be better. Alright, next one is this card. This card is alright. If you don't know what this card is, it gives you parameter, it gives you power shot, and make sure that next turn you're gonna get a blue buff. If you upgrade it, you're gonna get 2 stack, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I shouldn't talk about this one because this one is a high level card, right? Yeah, I check it. This is high level card. Okay, go here. If you don't know, this one is level 58. It's quite far away. We don't need to talk about that. Okay, another trash is this one. And since we are here, let's push. There is more trash here. I think so. Yeah. Anomaly. Interestingly, the tier in Anomaly represent their strength, right? As you can see, we almost have no silver card in here. If we compare this to like Sense, we have not Sense. Sense, we have a bit of silver up here. Not everything not in trash. The same go with Logic. We can use silver instead of gold or rainbow. But for Anomaly, silver is bad most of the time, except for the card that give you blue buff, right? And this card is also nice for power stacking. This card will give you parameter in full power mode also, and when you use this card, it will reserve itself. So you're gonna gain power shot, reserve itself, and whenever you go into full power, you're gonna redraw this one, which is nice. Other than that, this one is usable because right now we almost have no way to trigger the red buff outside of the rainbow card. So this is nice because it's also hit twice, so it's gonna gain benefit from the blue buff turn into red really well. This one is not that good. This one will give you power shot and will give you blue buff if you had red buff currently, which is not as useful as you might think. And since we already have many ways to gain a power shot, this one is also useless. This one is arguably alright because it has a high parameter, but this card can only be used in full power mode. So if you draw this card outside of full power, or if you didn't reserve this card, yeah, now that I'm talking about this should be in bad. Because it's gonna break your hand most of the time unless you lucky. But the one strong card is this one. This one will keep growing as long as you swapping stand. So it works really well with red and blue archetype. Every time you swap stand, you're gonna gain 3 or 6. I don't remember the upgrade number. But yeah, it's gonna stack really well and it's gonna become really strong eventually. Now for the last three late buff card for gold skill. These three, ideally we don't want to stack too much power shot in the red and blue archetype because we don't want to go into full power at all. Or maybe you want to, but really late into the run. So having this card will be both merit and demerit at the same time. If you have other card that generate full the power chart in your memory. Have this card will make sure that you're gonna overshoot yourself into full power. Because for red and blue archetype, going into full power doesn't benefit it that much because usually you're not gonna reserve any card. And without reserve, full power is just extra score for the red, like 50, not 50, I think 30% more score compared to the 2 stack of red. So this is alright. This one is also alright. This one is strong. The difference between these two outside of gaining power chart, because this one only one time use, this one can be reused, and for red and blue archetype, you want to swap between red and blue every single turn. So have the card that can be swapped to red every time you draw it is quite nice, in my opinion, and it performed quite well in my memory too. But most important card is of course this 4 card. Now that I think about it, these two are situational. These 4 cards can be used in every anomaly. Even if you play with full power, have a red buff will not hurt you in any way. And because you want to change buff between red and blue a little bit to trigger the grow condition of this skill too. And this is like the most powerful card we have in the game right now, I think. Basically what this card do is turn your stand into red and basically make your next 2 skill card use become free. And also draw you a lot of cards. I think it draw 2 cards, 2 or 3 cards, I don't remember. But yeah, it's really, really strong. So if you have these 2 in your deck, it's fine. This one and this one is also fine. Ideally, you want to combine 2 memory and have all these 4 cards for Anomaly. Because as you can see here, Anomaly value the rarity a lot compared to other archetype. Some blue buff can be gained from silver, otherwise you can gain from gold too. But yeah, if you have these 4 cards, your idol in contest gonna perform at least 20k. I can guarantee that on average, maybe higher than that even. And that is all for today. I've been talking for a while now. Oh yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot of talking about the skill card in the memory to use in your contest or idol road or maybe any other mode they're gonna introduce that might use your memory for. And I hope you can differentiate good memory from bad memory with this. We're not talking about the item because the item is really situational, depend on each season or contest you want to focus on, vocal, dance or visual. The item gonna be changed a lot, depend. But for the skill, it will stay the same no matter what. And in general, unless some idol do something really different from their own archetype, whatever I'm talking about from the start until now will always work, at least for me. Because if you don't know, I just clear like half of my memory, 250 in total for my account. That means I am lacking a lot in terms of memory to use in contest, and I looking this up and calculating all this to make a new memory, of course, for contest. Otherwise, gonna got kicked out from grade 7. For now, I'm still alive. I'm still hanging on. Anyway, I hope you have fun with video game, have fun getting a good memory, and maybe winning a contest. See you again soon because Sumika release tomorrow. Hero song will be released. Birthday song, not a new playable character, but birthday song for Hero will be released on Saturday, right? 21st. 21st is Saturday. Yeah. And lastly, next week from now, 24, 25, we're gonna get a new scenario and we're gonna have fun with that. I'm gonna have a lot to looking forward to. And if you want to learn that together with me, I might live stream that on my channel. Anyway, see you next time. For now, bye bye.